a world of junk, right? I know you have an optimistic view of the world, and so do I, but you can't ignore, and especially once you do get involved in these industries a bit more and you understand them a bit more, you do realize we kind of live in a world of junk, right? And you want to be optimistic, but you don't want to be naive. You don't want to be blind to these realities of the world, right? And it goes beyond just like what we're doing at our home in terms of what we put in the blue bin or the garbage. It's like at a pretty macro scale, like shipping containers, right? Waste from that sort of ecosystem. It's kind of crazy. You know, Frank Zappa has this lyric, mounds of dead appliances. And for me, that paints a picture. If you've ever been to a dump, at least here in North America, like a garbage disposal place, there's always a pile of like stoves, fridges, microwaves, and dishwashers.
Right.
And that's just kind of where they go to die. It's like these mounds of dead appliances. There's apparently no systems in place that are recycling those effectively. Maybe at a really small scale, but the majority of them are just ending up in these mounds of dead appliances. And that should paint a good picture. Like, I guess I'll listen to your viewpoint on this, but when I say that out loud and when I think of it, it should show that for younger people or just entrepreneurs or creatives in general, when you're looking at like, what are some opportunities for me in the world, it's not always right to just be looking at like, okay, what's a product I can source and sell on Amazon? It's like, that's one opportunity, but let's not ignore the opportunities that are maybe even a bit more necessary in terms of like recycling stuff or reusing stuff, or there's just so much opportunity in that, but that's not what the trendy videos are on. That's not what the culture is focused on right now. But I actually think it is becoming a bit more focused on that.
I think so.
But yeah, I'd just like to hear your thoughts on the world of junk.
The world of junk. You know, I'm going to start almost backwards from the last thing that you said, because I feel when I first got into the entrepreneurial world, it was that cliche thing of find something to make money at, find something to keep busy with, find something that is just outside of the realm of what you're used to. But the point that I think that I'm leaning more towards now, you know, having all this unoccupied time as I'm considering what to do with my business and potentially transitioning to something else, is how creative can I get, right? And I think that's what needs to build the next series of entrepreneurs. Is there is so much out there in the world of junk that you could literally work backwards and create a business that blows everybody else out of the water, because it just has never been properly attacked, or it's never been pursued, or you could find a way to, you know, manufacture and reverse products that can be taken apart and, you know, proactively disposed of, right? Like stuff like that.
Yeah, thinking about that end game
in mind. And like the other cliche saying is think with the end in mind. We don't, man. We say it, but we don't do it. And
then it's the mounds of dead appliances.
It is. And I always find that it's so funny, and I can't exclude myself from this this point, because, you know, we're humans. We do it, right? But we say so much but do so little, right? You know, you're your own worst critic. You know, all this stuff that kind of comes out. You know, you're the best at giving advice, but the worst at taking it, right? Stuff like that.
Do as I say, not as I do. Right?
Exactly. So I think if we were to only become more active in the way that we thought towards life in general, we could take more value from the things that come out of our own mouth than what we think that we're going to receive from listening to other people. And that's what, again, focusing back to that heart center, that authentic self. We know what we're supposed to do, man. You know, I'm a pretty spiritual guy, just in general. I know not everybody doesn't vibe with that, but when I look at it, I was put on this earth for a purpose, and I will not be removed until it's completed. Either that, or I'm just gonna be trapped wandering somewhere in another form, or as a spirit, or as an angel, or whatever it is, right? But so I think that if we again strive towards that, how can I, or what could I do to create a better world? That's really going to serve a lot more people than I think we realize.
Yeah, and I think it's necessary, and I do see like that switch in general, like going beyond just the eco-friendly mentality and more into like that just radically creative mentality, like creating stuff that's just better in general. Because it's funny, a lot of like the stuff that does happen to be better for the environment or better for the earth in general also happens to be just radically better in general, right? You think of a Tesla, and there's always hot debate like, oh, the batteries, pollution with that. And it's like, okay, let's say it's even. Let's say it's even to gasoline vehicles, right?
Yeah.
In terms of the pollution. Let's say it's even. Let's say it's only like 1% better, 1% less pollution.
Right.
Okay, that might not be enough to sway the world to why we should drive electric cars.
Right.
But how about it's that, plus it's just a radically better vehicle in general. And obviously that's up for debate too, but Tesla constantly has new innovations being brought forth. They just had Battery Day, and there's some pretty interesting things with their new batteries and just how they're going to be creating their new cars. Some new innovations. They're always thinking about it, and they're like that, those really tons of creative engineers, entrepreneurs who are just creating better products in general that also happen to be seemingly better for the environment too. I think those two things go hand in hand. When you create better products, when you just create better things, they're also like better for the world. However you want to interpret that. I know it's kind of a weird subject to talk about. It's always debatable. What does better mean? But that's my viewpoint.
I think that you're onto something in that, because when you're creating better anything, it only models better behavior, right? So when you think about that, like, wow, we stepped out of diesel and gasoline and into electric. That's amazing. What's next?
Right.
Right? Like,
Exactly.
that's the conversation that we need to have. It's like, oh, it's not that much better, but it's just like, yeah, but is it making things different? Right? Because we've been trapped in the same thinking, I think, as a collective for a long time. And you and I were touching on this pretty much as soon as I walked in the door. Watching how the oil and gas industries have been changing and being impacted, coming from pretty two heavy oil and gas cities in Western Canada, and being like, wow, you guys really figured out a good system for the beginning of COVID. Oh, okay. Oh, you're going back? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, we'll see you in 90 days when you close your doors, because you took on this new system to create a virtual presence or a work at home environment that was serving your people just as good, if not better, and your company, and then you're willing to so fast go back to what we were used to. It's like we're never going to progress, or the weak are going to be weeded out through their lack of ability to change and create better X or get better at Y or whatever it is.
Yeah, and I think the reason this kind of subject is debated a bit more is because like you start to, when you talk only on the basis of like what's better for the environment, everyone debates that because well, what is better for the environment? Who really knows? But like you said, and I really like that point, what's better in general typically is what moves us forward and what changes things a little bit. So if you're changing something because it does appear to be better for the environment, let's not get caught up in debating if it is better or not, and let's just be like, okay, that's a good step forward, let's go with that, and then see what happens next, right? Definitely. That again, macro thinking for at scale for the whole globe, but also that comes into the micro thinking on how to operate your own life and how to move through career changes or different ideas, like what's going to make me more happy. Let's just see what I can do better. Let's see if I can become better at this, and let's see if it makes me a bit happier. And you know what I mean? So it's just you gotta go lateral with this kind of thinking. You gotta go a bit abstract. And I know that's tough for some people actually, which kind of blows my mind because again, the Legos and everything like that, I've just always been this abstract creative thinker. Yeah. But that kind of stuff just makes so much sense to me, man. And I hope as time goes on, the more I do this podcast, the more I talk with people like yourself, I'm going to get better at articulating these things so that I can help. My kind of motto with this podcast has become inspire creative thinking. Absolutely. And that is literally, that's like the baseline of what I want to do just in general. I don't want to inspire correct thinking. I don't want to like put an ideology out there and be like, this is better for the environment, do this. Yeah. No, I don't want that. I want to just inspire creative thinking. I want to say, hey, maybe this is better for people in general. Why don't we look into this more or shed light on that more? Or maybe this is better for you as an individual. Why don't you pursue that more, right? So I just want to inspire creative thinking. I don't want to inspire correct thinking or politically correctness. Just want people to start thinking outside the box, man. You know.